I am just going to start over on Instagram. So if you are coming in, welcome, welcome, welcome to Sovereign Sundays. If you are in the space, let me know if you can hear me. Um, I am live on both Instagram and YouTube. Excuse me, you've probably seen a whole lot of movement. So, greetings, it's Sovereign Sunday. I um I wanted to, jump right in. It is wasn't such a today was the day ran away from me. Ran away, literally ran away from me. Um but it's always good to be here. It's always good to be in the space, share space with you all. Greetings, Paul Rotten. Greetings, Alien Black Girl. Peace, peace, peace. I don't see anyone on YouTube just yet, but greetings and shalom and peace to you. Welcome to a new Shavua, a new strong, right? New strong, new strong. Um, so anyone who's coming in, joining, um, I am hailing up Alien Black Girl. She is a fellow Anu woman. Greetings, Anu Moon, another fellow Anu woman. Greetings. Good to see you all in the space. I Today I wanted to talk a little bit about eating, right? And um I wanted to pull a little bit from one of the texts that is really important and strategic right now in guiding my way of life, the way I eat, the way I function. Um, but before I do that, how are y'all doing? How you doing? It's a new strong. My strong just started off like wild, got away with me. It wasn't crazy, but just um, yeah, that first day ran away fast, real fast. But I wanted to pull a little bit from the Anu way, just to read a little piece because I was thinking about, just eating and food consumption and our gut, right? Um, and also the law of correspondence was on my mind, and well, whatever is inside will come out, right? It will be displayed in your countenance, in your physical. So really important to think about. And so for me, let me check to see if anyone is with us on YouTube. I don't see anyone yet. Greetings, Deidre Sully. But here's a piece I wanted to read. Um, it goes like this: when we sacrifice the natural produce of the earth to the temple of our own bodies, we are transforming those forces for the countenance of our own lives. This is the sacrifice of life for life. So, in order to get life, right, and to maintain life, we have to feed off of life. Food should be seen as sacred. Living foods continue to live on inside our temples, but they are forever changed. Today, we're going to see that, there's this amazing dynamic between our bodies and food. But our bodies, I mean, it's not just the physical body, but there's this symbiotic relationship occurring inside of this physical body. And yes, we have our ethereal body, we have our spiritual bodies, but inside of this physical body, we have bacteria, and they're living inside of us rent free. Yes, they are rent free. That's like, I really like to say that thing, rent free. But I wanted to bring you to, how many of you remember Little Shop of Horrors? I can't say Little Shop of Horrors. I think it was the name of the movie was actually Little Shop, right? And in Little Shop we have I think the protagonist was I think Seymour, and he discovered that there was this carnivorous plant, and he had to continuously feed the plant. Once he eventually fed the plant um, a human body part, it craved for more. So today I thought of that story to share. Please, if you're in the chat and you know about Seymour and that crazy plant, Little Shop of Horrors was one of my favorites when I was much younger, much younger. And if you're in the chat and you've ever witnessed it, ever sat through the whole film, laughed, asked questions, wondered what's going on in here, um, you've probably made the connection to that plant and the bacteria that kind of lives inside of us rent free. And today I wanted to use that story just to think about bacteria inside of us and how they control and can control our dietary cravings. And I know to a certain extent we've had some of this conversation, but I wanted to look at bacteria through that lens today just because bacteria they're gonna run our physical body, right? The predominantly we're made up of bacteria. And there's this symbiotic relationship that's occurring between us and the bacteria. And that type, I mean, it's symbiotic, but we're not really benefiting. The bacteria is benefiting, right? And we're not harmed in the process, or so you may think, because since they run things, they control. And if they're controlling us, we are the home for bacteria. So we become their environment. We become that community where they live for free, rent free. So we have to make bacteria work for us. And in order to do that, we have to control the environment in there so that we can control the type of bacteria that continues to maintain the functioning of our bodies. So when it comes to bacteria, the way they control it is that communication between the energy cells in our body and the bacteria. And so, guess what? Bacteria, if we have bacteria that we fed for a long time, things like simple sugars and other things like hydrogenated carbons, it's really what happens is, I'll just wait. Hydrogenated carbons. It's really, I know you're probably hearing like a lot of background noise, but yeah, let's work through it. It's cool. It's all right. We'll survive. So, um, yeah. So what we find is that their chemicals are there's a constant communication and conversation going back and forth in between the brain and the gut. And so the bacteria in the gut is constantly producing specific chemicals, telling the brain what to crave, right? So if you've fed for a long period of time, you've fed your body simple sugars and hydrogenated fats and things like that, it craves it and it will continue to crave that. A matter of fact, it will produce certain chemicals in the brain, forcing you to look for those types of foods, feeding the perpetual cycle consistently. So you can break that chain. So today, one of the things that I said I wanted to just share with you all is this idea of eat this, not that, right? What are the foods that we should actually eat compared to what we should not consume? And so some plants, I just wanted to put it out there. I remember hearing, a lot of people talk about the way beans make them feel when they consume it. And when I first started consuming raw, just completely raw, not a high raw diet, but just 100% raw, I heard a lot of people saying that they would enjoy beans, sprouted beans specifically. And so for me, I said, well, I'm not sure sprouted beans is appropriate for my body, but I decided I would try it. It was the worst thing coming and going. Do you know raw kidney beans could be actually toxic or lethal to you, right? If you eat too much, it becomes lethal. It could actually make you sick, keel over, right? Lethal. So if you are considering raw, one of the things I'm going to suggest that you do is that you stay away from sprouted raw beans, specifically kidney beans. And so today I'm going to separate the category of eat this not that into, of course, first eat this. What should we be eating? Greens, leaves, and tubers. Sorry, tubers. So sweet potatoes. Don't laugh at me. It's a slip of the tongue. Do not eat tumors. Please. Uh, so tubers like sweet potatoes and so on. The one tuber I'm going to tell you, try stay away from, and I'll give you my little story right now, is sweet potatoes. Every time I consume sweet potato, not sweet potato, what do you call them? White potatoes, Irish potatoes. Every time I consume potato in that form, Irish potato, I wake up the next day filled with mucus completely. I can see it and my body feels weak. I feel tired. I feel drained to my bones. I don't know if any of you have had that experience. Just drop a message in the chat. Share with me what your experiences have been consuming things like white potato, even if it's in the smallest amount. And I say that because we may cook a potato, but that's not the only way potato starch or white potato finds its way into our diet. Sometimes the potato starch is added to many of the foods and snacks that we consume. So it's really important to pay attention to the ingredients. And you may think, okay, well, this why would this have potato in it? Potato starch is though is used to bind things. So if you're consuming baked goods and so on, you're going to find that potato starch is included, right? It's also used as a thickener. So maybe in some of the sauces and so on that we consume, you'll find it there. Stay away. Now, let's look at the items that you should not consume. And toward the end, I am actually going to pause and share a little bit about the picture, because I had someone, I think it was Sister Aquia, ask me, what is the bread made of? Well, it isn't bread. And I know there's another sister in here who's probably interested too, because she asked me about this the other day. And I wanted to share. I mean, I went right to her because, like, I remember doing this before, I'll do it again. So, toward the end, I will share a great bread substitute that you can create yourself if you want to recreate a healthy burger that does not include beans, which is one of the foods that we're going to talk about today that you should absolutely stay away from. And I will give you a little bit about the bread, what I use to create the bread, and how you can recreate it, whether you have a dehydrator because you want it raw, or if you have an oven. Of course, again, I am an advocate for ovens with pilots. If you have an electric oven, throw it away. I'm just joking. So here are some of the things that you should stay away from. Seeds in fruit, but if you're going to consume seeds, such as, let's say, cashews, um, you want to make sure that you slow cook them, right? And you may say, well, wow, you want them raw. I am learning, even though I'm an advocate for raw, I am learning that there are certain foods that are not appropriate to consume if they are not cooked completely. So very important, it's really important to think about how, we we engage with seeds, right? And nuts, right? And I know one of the things you're probably saying is, well, how is it a seed? So cashews are, and I'm going to, I don't have the ability to do it now, but I'm going to encourage you to go off and, type in and look for cashews. Cashews grow as a pitted fruit. They have a fruit attached to the top and a seed at the bottom, and that seed at the bottom is what we consume. If you are going to consume cashews, I know a lot of us enjoy cashew cheeses. The best way to do it is to slow cook it. You don't have a pressure cooker. I won't suggest you use your grandma's pressure cooker. Explosions may happen, but you can definitely slow cook, right? Those seeds. If you have beans and you do want to consume beans, although I'm saying no beans, I if you have the opportunity to soak them, I mean hours in advance. A matter of fact, a day or two in advance, changing the water as many times as possible, and then you slow cook them for hours, you will be fine, because the slow cooking, what it does is actually breaks down the seed coating, the fibers, and the protein that I'm going to talk about a little bit, that protein that we all, our bodies have these reactions to this protein, but we don't think anything of it because we hear, if you're vegetarian, okay, eat beans. However, there the protein is not easily digestible, and so we have to remember, there's a way to work with it, or we have to find other options. Eat leafy greens. That's it. That's it. So seeds in fruits, it's a no-no. And that's hard for me because I like to utilize everything, including the seeds and the skin. But I am learning that even with some of the cooking processes in other parts of the world, for example, you'll notice that some cultures, they'll cook tomatoes, but they'll remove the skins and they'll remove the seeds. Some cultures don't. The seeds and the skins contain a lectin that is it's destructive to the inner lining and the gut of our stomachs. It's very difficult for us to break down, and it causes so many things to erupt on our skin and just discomfort in our stomach, and we don't even realize it. So if you are going to consume seeds, let's say you're using peppers and so on, and you want to include them in whatever it is you're cooking, make sure you include them in that slow cooker as well, so that they slow cook, and that breaks down the protein. And we'll talk about what that protein is a little bit later. Exceptions, I mentioned cashews. Some exceptions are walnuts and pistachios. And I'm going to have a whole separate live or a podcast for walnuts, because walnuts are an amazing and extremely healthy nut alternative to cashews and many of the other nuts that we find ourselves munching on and consuming. Healthy fats, and they're great for the brain. Excellent support for the brain. Grasses and grains are a no-no. Stay away from them, and that's again, I get into the proteins and why those proteins, take away from our comfort, digestive comfort. They make us uncomfortable, and we think it's okay, and we've learned to live with it. They've even created Beano and everything else to, like, fool us into thinking, okay, it's okay to actually function in that way and be, uncomfortable, and your body should not have to go through that. um, Beans and legumes, as I mentioned before, please stay away from them. Now, remember, I'm not saying don't eat them at all. There is a proper way to break them down. Again, I keep saying it: slow cook, slow cook, slow cook. Nightshades, I touched on those before. The tomatoes, peppers, eggplants. Nightshades, a long list for nightshades. A lot of vine plants that grow fruits, sorry, that grow on the vine are considered nightshades, and the seeds can be, again, very difficult for us to break down. I just want to pause and greet everyone who's coming into the space. I think Deidre Sully, I greeted you already. Alien Bad Girl, peace, peace, peace. Sister Anu Moon, Fruits of Life Yoga, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And Cornelia's Creative Corner, peace and welcome. And if we have anyone on YouTube, I can't see you. If you have questions, I am going to address them a little bit after, but I can't even see you now. But big up to you. Um, yeah, so beans. When I went raw, I remember sharing that I kind of decided I wanted to try the raw bean sprouts and so on. They're toxic. They're lethal. Throw them out. The truth is, peanuts are also considered a legume, and so I want you to think about, peanut has two things. So peanut has that protein that we're going to talk about, lectin, But there's also a mold, and I mentioned this before on one another live, or maybe more than one. Peanut has a mold that causes adverse reactions. That's why so many people have allergies to this mold. So peanut is one of those legumes that you should really never have at all. Very, just consider that. And it may be difficult because I know many of us enjoy peanut butters, but another a great alternative or option would be almond butter. If you are going to use almond to make butter, or you're going to buy almond butter, make sure during the process the skins are removed. If the skins aren't removed, what's going to happen is you're going to have the same types of responses that your body has if you're eating beans that are undercooked. They're not slow cooked, and that can be very toxic. And again, that toxicity shows up in the skin. I found myself eating beans for a period of time, and I'm telling you, my skin grayed out, got ashy, my skin got dry. It's crazy. It is, and you don't think anything about it. Even if you're drinking water, it really, there are toxins, and your body can't break it down again if you're not preparing them properly. So the protein that I'm talking about, I've been talking about all this time, is lectin. So lectin can actually cause, you name it. I know many of you have had experiences with it, but it will actually cause low pressure, and that's one of the reasons why you get lethargic, right? It can cause dizziness, fainting, even drowsiness. All of these things the body goes through when we eat beans and legumes, and we wonder, well, why is it I feel so drowsy? But the truth is, it's the lectin, the protein. What it actually is, it's a defense mechanism in the plant. All right, and so because it's actually defending itself. Remember, a bean is a baby, right? A plant that wants to actually grow into um, a seedling and then an actual plant. And so within it, there are some proteins that are preventative. It's for its survival. All right. And so that clashes with our system. And again, those proteins cause us all of that flatulence and the hypotension and the diarrhea, the dizziness, and so on. So make sure to cook them properly. If you're going to consume them in small amounts. Gluten. Gluten's the protein in gluten, that lectin, is that's one of the wow, that's wheat for you. That's one of the proteins that will actually, it will penetrate the gut lining. And when you begin to break out on your skin, maybe you have eczema and acne, you're probably wondering why. It's the adverse effect that protein has on the gut lining and your body. It comes up on your skin. It turns out, you just start breaking out. You start getting ashy. You start scratching. Some people have allergies, right? Some, I think it's celiac and so on. There is this reaction that they have. And so I think many people have those reactions, but I think it's in varying degrees. And many of us have just, like learned how to live with it, right? We can't say, okay, that's fine. So apart from that, that particular protein causes brain fog. Again, ashy skin, dried skin, and also irritable bowel syndrome. And I'm saying these things because there are times when I have consumed something that has like wheat flour in it, and I instantly can tell the difference with, how I feel, how much energy I have, how low my energy. I feel it in my bones sometimes, right? Sometimes I want to sleep an extra hour or two because the body needs all of that time to recover from processing that lectin. So lectin and gluten are two proteins that are present in grains and wheat and beans and legumes that we should stay away from. Um, Peels and seeds, I mentioned before, try not to cook them. That's one of the reasons why you'll see some cultures again too if they use peppers, they'll what do you call them? They'll bake them or roast them, and then they'll take the seeds out, and then they'll peel the skin off and throw it away. And you never once would stop to think to say, oh wow, you know, this is because those two parts of the fruit are not helpful to the gut flora and the microbiota. So that's all I wanted to share today. Um, I don't see any questions in the chat, so I am going to say peace out. Thank you all for being in the space and just sharing. Those of you who are on, I can't tell. Can you all hear me or see me? I saw a couple waves and then I think I chipped out. So maybe it's on, maybe it's not. But thank you for joining me. Thank you for being in the space. Um, yeah, get get that balance with the bacteria in your gut back. I, I'll jump into the bread. Get that balance with the bacteria in your gut back to like a healthy space by doing a few things. I want you to think about scrubbing the taste buds, and you can scrub your taste buds by consuming things like parsley. Parsley kind of helps to scrub the taste buds. So if you build up a taste for savory things or salty things, parsley, golden seal will help to do that as well. Eliminate toxins from your blood. And I talk about herbs that you can use to flush your blood. An enema can help you with cleansing the gut as well, and then do a enema to help flush your colon. That's that's going to be helpful for you. Um, what was the bread? All right. Okay, that's a very weird transition, but we're gonna do it anyway. Um, so yeah, so it is coconut flour, it is oatmeal, right? A little bit of oatmeal. It is almond flour, right? And this almond flour is made from almonds where they've removed the skins, and you know that because you don't see brown flecks. Once you see brown flecks or flakes inside of or specks inside of your almond flour, you know that they've utilized the skins as well. So you want to make sure you stay away from that. Um, and I included a little bit of coconut oil in there. You can put salt to taste, and that's it, right? The bread you can make in, I have a sample here. So with the bread, you can actually, it's pretty soft. You can see how soft it is, easy to break. It doesn't feel hard like a cracker. But again, that's because I also added psyllium husk. So psyllium husk, it causes it to bind, so that way you don't need to add extra oils or extra things like baking soda, baking powder. You don't need to add any of that. No flax is necessary. I know for some people the estrogen in flax can be a problem, so the psyllium husk is a good substitute. I'll include the full recipe in an attachment to the post that I put up for this particular live. I see you all again on Tuesday, right? I see you all on Tuesday for midday motivation. And yeah, peace. Enjoy the rest and the close of March, and welcome in April with strength. Peace and power, everyone. Thank you.